NBA commissioner calls out the WNBA over its biggest star's injury, Adam Silver's warning shot could upend negotiations, sponsorship deals, and even the league's future. Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's golden goose, just announced she'll miss Friday's three-point contest and Saturday's All-Star game due to a groin aggravation, and the timing couldn't be worse.
We do start our show, though, with unfortunate news out of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark announced today that she will miss both the three-point contest and the WNBA All-Star Game this upcoming weekend in Indiana after re-aggravating a groin injury in that final minute of Tuesday's win over the Connecticut Sun. Clark had missed 4 games and the Commissioner's Cup final with that groin injury earlier this month, and now will be out for this weekend's festivities, which really stinks for fans, but you know that if there was any way...
With CBA talks on the brink and lockout threats looming, Clark's absence is more than bad luck. It's a crisis, and everyone from fans to partners is watching. Just days before Indianapolis was set to host its first ever WNBA All-Star Weekend, complete with fan zones, live concerts, and news crews from around the globe, Caitlin Clark stunned everyone with a brief but devastating announcement. Via the Fever's official channels, she revealed a right groin aggravation sustained in Tuesday's practice left her no choice but to sit out both Friday's three-point contest and Saturday's All-Star game. This isn't a minor setback. Indianapolis spent the past 3 months weaving Clark's name and number, 22, into every aspect of the event. Airport banners welcomed arriving fans with "Welcome to Caitlin Clark's All-Star City." Downtown hotels sported window wraps featuring her signature step back, and local merchandisers rolled out limited edition Clark jerseys and courtside hoodies. Now, instead of witnessing her gravity-defying triples and no-look assists, crowds will see her off to the side, helping Sandy coach our team. That abrupt switch from being the weekend's headline attraction to an obliging sideline presence cuts deep, reminding everyone how fragile even the most glittering sports spectacles can be. The WNBA's current collective bargaining agreement is set to expire on October 31st, 2025. And behind closed doors, the atmosphere is heating up. Players and owners have been locked in talks for months over 3 critical battlegrounds: how league revenue is shared, the structure of free agency, and strengthened health and safety protections. For players, star power isn't just a badge of honor, it's leverage at the negotiating table. Caitlin Clark's appearance on national broadcasts routinely lifted ratings by more than 75% and drove sponsorship interest in Fever-branded merchandise. Her participation in All-Star Weekend would have guaranteed premium ticket sales, lucrative primetime TV slots, and banner ad sponsorships from national brands. Now, with Clark sidelined, that leverage evaporates. Owners, already cautious about expanding the salary cap or enhancing travel, see their best bargaining chip benched. The players' union warned of a potential work stoppage if demands for additional guaranteed contracts, enhanced health benefits, and freer movement between teams aren't met. But with Clark out of the biggest showcase on the calendar, owners can credibly argue that televising a starless All-Star Weekend won't justify the costs of their headline proposals. What seemed like an unfortunate injury has morphed into a pivotal moment in labor negotiations. Rather than a toss-up over medical misfortune, this feels more like a strategic blow to the union's bargaining position, one that could tilt the entire CBA outcome in favor of the owners unless the WNBA swiftly adjusts its game plan. When asked about Clark's sudden withdrawal, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver offered a pointed response. "Caitlin's safety and fair treatment are non-negotiable," he said, emphasizing that every basketball organization must prioritize its players' well-being. In the context of the NBA-WNBA partnership, where broadcast rights, digital streaming revenue, and joint marketing deals exceed $500 million annually, that statement reverberates far beyond mere goodwill. Silver isn't issuing a casual get-well wish, he's laying down a marker. His office helped negotiate the WNBA's current TV contract, set to launch a new primetime package in 2026, and knows full well how Clark's presence boosts network bids and corporate sponsorship commitments. By publicly spotlighting the issue, Silver is signaling that the NBA will monitor how the WNBA handles its brightest star, and suggesting that, if necessary, the NBA may leverage its greater clout to push for stronger player safety protocols, or even step in to ensure Clark isn't sidelined by preventable harm. Cathy Engelbert's handling of Caitlin Clark's injury and the related officiating fiascos has drawn sharp rebukes. In press conferences, Engelbert has repeatedly tripped over Clark's name, bundling her into vague references like "our athletes" or pivoting to another player, rather than directly addressing the league's premier talent. Veteran sports columnist Christine Brennan blasted the commissioner for fumbling basic facts and unable to speak plainly about the league's biggest asset. Behind the scenes, Engelbert's office has stonewalled inquiries into recurring no calls. When Marina Mabre's off-ball shove knocked Clark to the floor in April, the league quietly upgraded the foul to a flagrant 2 only after fans and pundits erupted online. Engelbert offered no apology or admission of error, issuing instead a boilerplate statement on due process and consistent application of disciplinary rules. Coaches and players say that consistent is hardly accurate. Indiana's own Stephanie White called the league's response tone-deaf, pointing out that Clark has been shoved, grabbed, and elbowed without any retroactive clarification or change to officiating guidance. On social media, Clark's brother Colin asked, "Why must we beg for basic protection?" highlighting the frustration that even family members feel. Rather than stepping up as the league's chief advocate for player safety, Engelbert has appeared in retreat, settling for platitudes about upholding the spirit of competition while allowing dangerous play to continue unchecked. In a moment when clear leadership and decisive action were demanded, Engelbert's missteps have left the WNBA looking reactive, defensive, and unprepared to safeguard its most valuable stars. The moment Caitlin Clark hit the sideline, the bottom fell out of fever-related revenue streams. National TV ratings for Indiana's games plunged by 53%, collapsing from an average of default 1.81 million viewers to 847,000, a loss of nearly 1 million households per broadcast. At standard advertising rates, that viewership gap equates to $2 to $3 million. It shot centers in misstead revenue for networks each time Clark's name vanished from the lineup. In 2024, ESPN credited Clark with driving a 170% increase in WNBA ratings year over year, while Ion's numbers jumped at 133%, sparking aggressive renewal bids for broadcast rights tied explicitly to her appearances. Now, with those spikes stalled mid-season, both networks are in renegotiation limbo. Rights fee discussions slated for next year may see offers slashed by 20 to 30% unless the league can guarantee star-powered ratings. The ripple effect extends to sponsorships and in-arena income. Fever home gates averaged to 17,200 fans per game before Clark's injuries, and 80% sellout rate that fueled $1.8 million in average ticket revenue per contest. With her out, attendance dipped by 25%, leaving thousands of empty seats and pushing concessions and merchandise sales down by thus 35%. Betting markets haven't been immune. Wagers on Fever games dropped by 50%. Within a week of Clark's groin aggravation, signaling lost revenue for sportsbooks and, by extension, reduced handle-based fees for the league. When one player is responsible for skyrocketing TV audiences, packed arenas, and surging sponsorship demand, her health becomes far more than a coach's concern. It's the league's chief financial linchpin. In this light, Clark's all-star absence isn't just a blow to team morale. It threatens to hollow out the WNBA's revenue model at a critical juncture of rights deals, sponsorship renewals, and labor negotiations. This season's erratic officiating has morphed into a full-blown safety emergency. In just 44 games, the WNBA logged 40 serious injuries, a rate of nearly 3.2 injuries per game, with many tied directly to uncalled contact. On live television, Rebecca Lobo paused the broadcast to call out repeated grab holds and forearm strikes that went unwhistled, saying, "These aren't borderline plays, they're fouls by any standard." Indiana coach Stephanie White went even further after another bruising loss. The disrespect shown to our players is egregious. Officials are watching stars get hammered and doing nothing. The consequences ripple beyond bruises. Dead ball shoves, like the shove that laid Clark out, force players to contort their bodies mid-flight to brace for impact, shifting stress onto hips and hips onto groins. Sports medicine specialists warn that recurrent groin strains aren't random. They're a sign of mounting mechanical overload. When athletes constantly adjust their stride to avoid collisions, secondary injuries to quads, hamstrings, and lower back become almost inevitable. Even Caitlin Clark's own brother took to social media writing, "Make no mistake, this is on the refs," capturing a growing sentiment that inadequate whistleblowing isn't just unfair, it's hazardous, until the league demands consistent enforcement of basic fouls. Dead ball contact, off-the-ball grabs, and over-the-back hits. Its most valuable talent will remain at risk, and each missed call could translate into the next lost superstar. As lockout threats gather, the WNBA faces its biggest test. Can it overhaul officiating standards, clearly defining protective versus reckless conduct, and retrain referees before the next season? Will Engelbert champion expanded player safety protocols in the new CBA? And crucially, can both sides negotiate a deal that secures long-term health insurance, guaranteed contracts, and revenue sharing that reflects Clark's economic impact? Failure means not just a lost season, but potential erosion of fan trust and sponsor confidence. Caitlin Clark's All-Star withdrawal wasn't just an injury, it was a seismic event revealing flaws in governance, officiating, and labor relations. Adam Silver's intervention underscores how critical Clark is not only to WNBA success, but to women's sports as a whole.